Every gardener knows that earthworms are one of the best allies you can have in the soil. They aerate the ground, break down organic matter, and leave behind castings that are richer in nutrients than almost any fertilizer you can buy. But here's the challenge. If your soil is compacted, low in organic matter, or simply not worm-friendly, you may hardly see any at all. The good news is, there's a simple one-time action you can take that dramatically increases worm activity in your raised beds or garden soil. Do this once, and you'll see worms moving in, multiplying, and transforming your soil into a living, fertile ecosystem. Let's get right into it. The secret is creating a worm banquet beneath the soil. Earthworms don't magically appear out of nowhere. They go where the food is. If you want them flocking to your raised beds, you need to give them a meal that's irresistible. And the best way to do that is by burying a layer of organic material directly into the soil where you want the worms to work. This isn't just any compost or mulch on the surface. We're talking about a buried feeding zone that mimics what worms naturally look for underground. What works best? Kitchen scraps like fruit and vegetable peels, spent coffee grounds, wilted greens, and crushed eggshells all make excellent worm attractants. Even better is adding some partially decomposed compost or aged manure. The combination of fresh food scraps and already active organic matter creates both a feast and a comfortable environment for worms to thrive in. Many gardeners scatter scraps or mulch on the surface and expect worms to gather. While this does work eventually, burying organic matter takes the process to another level. Worms are naturally drawn to cooler, darker, and moist environments underground. By burying the material 6 to 8 inches down, you give them direct access in their comfort zone. This method also prevents smells, keeps rodents or flies away, and encourages worms to stay in the root zone of your plants where they're needed most. The best part is, once worms find this buried food source, they won't just visit. They'll stay and reproduce. Over time, your garden beds become their permanent home. Here's how to do it step by step. Choose a section of your raised bed or garden that you want to improve. Dig a trench about 1 foot wide and 6 to 8 inches deep. Lay in your mix of kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, and crushed eggshells. If you have access to aged manure or half-finished compost, layer that in as well. Once your trench is filled, cover it back up with soil. Water the area lightly to help the decomposition process kick in. Within a week or two, you'll notice more worm activity around that zone. As the material breaks down, worms will move in, feed, and multiply, leaving behind worm castings that enrich the soil for your plants. You know, doing this just once really sets off a chain reaction. As worms feed, they create tunnels that improve soil aeration, which means roots can grow deeper and water can penetrate more effectively. Plus, their castings add a natural slow-release fertilizer that's full of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, all in forms that plants can easily absorb. Over time, you won't need to repeat this exact process in the same spot, because the worm population will establish itself and, well, spread naturally throughout the bed. If you keep your garden mulched and add organic matter from time to time, the worms will sustain themselves, turning your soil into a rich, living sponge that practically takes care of itself. For most gardeners, doing this once at the start of the season is enough to set the stage. But if you notice soil health declining or worm numbers dropping, you can repeat the process in another section of the bed. Rotating these buried feeding zones ensures the entire garden stays worm-rich year after year. Think of it as building a self-renewing worm farm directly in your soil. Earthworms are nature's original soil builders, and when you give them what they need, they'll repay you many times over. By burying organic matter once in your raised beds or garden, you create a permanent invitation for worms to move in, thrive, and turn your soil into a powerhouse of fertility. No chemicals, no expensive amendments, just the natural partnership between worms and organic matter. If you found this helpful, subscribe to Gentle Herb Living for more natural gardening strategies that actually work. And share this video with a fellow gardener who could use more worms in their soil, because the healthier the worms, the healthier the harvest.